God, this is just the best. Yeah, I remember that. Whee! Oh, God. Uh-oh. Oh my God, I'm still going. I'm still going. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Oh no, no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Ah! Ah! Go! Go, 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 Sam! Oh my God. It is so good to be back at this. I am really tired. I really want to go to bed. It's 1 in the morning, but I haven't played this in absolute ages because this is the first time in probably about a week or two that even with the door open, my window open, and my fan on full blast, it was still like 32 degrees by night. Now it's only 24 degrees, so hell yeah. Finally some time to do this. I was about to be really mad at myself like a second ago because I almost forgot to start recording. Also, I've got a big conspiracy. BB, chill out. Chill out. And I forgot to actually get it up. So I don't know how this is going to be cut together. I'm just going to have Sam take a nap here.
Okay. Let's just sit here for a second.
Yeah, now shut up while I'm talking. There it is. Okay. So, first of all, true story here that I have to write down. So, during the last playthrough, you know how it ended with, or there was that little segment with Dead Man talking about Sam's past and how there was a member of Bridges who was a repatriate who hid his wife's body and then caused a void out, and the wife's name was Lucy. I was just sitting there in bed for ages after that, like probably about a half an hour, just thinking, it's like, who the fuck is Lucy? This person has never been mentioned before. That seems a bit weird. Then I bolted upright, like straight up in bed, realizing, holy fuck, Lucy is Cliff's wife. This isn't about Sam, this is about Cliff. Somehow this information got confused. That means that Cliff's wife somehow died 10 years ago, and that's when BB is from, but that doesn't make sense, and all this stuff. And I wrote, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 full-ass lines of text coming up with my conspiracy theory on this before I had edited even further in the video, and a segment with Cliff comes up, and he calls his wife Lisa. And I just realized, oh, fuck, it was just 2 women whose names started with the letter L. And I completely conflated the two. So that is all useless now. And that really fucking pissed me off, but also made me happy, because that maybe means that I don't have to write, or I don't have to do another puppet show. But anyways, yeah, now the part that's going to be probably cut together weirdly, depending on which segment makes more sense where. So, okay, actually, on that note, in regards of Cliff. So, Dead Man said that he was Cliff was a soldier in Kosovo, Iraq, and Afghanistan. This game came out in 2019, so they obviously didn't know that America was gonna bail on Afghanistan in 2021, I think it was? Early 2022? I can't remember. I'm sure people know the difference, but around the 2020s, after 2020. So they didn't know that, because the game came out before that, but that means, where am I in this sentence that I wrote ages ago? So at the very least, in regards to those wars, Cliff was a soldier sometime between 1998 and 2019. That's like the start and end point of the wars, you know, what Kojima could actually know about. So we can assume that Death Stranding occurred sometime after 2019. Maybe it happened in 2020, exactly, like right after the game came out. Maybe it happened when the game came out. Who knows? But yeah, that's the whole thing there. Let's see, what's the second thing? What happened last year? Okay, so that's something about... Well, it just goes, what happened last year? Was he referring to void outs in general, or is the woman in the bed not Lucy, but instead Lucy died while pregnant, and the woman in the bed is someone else? That's a thing from when I thought Lisa was Lucy. Maybe I'll have to look back. Maybe, like, did that guy who came into the room and talked to Cliff, did he mention something about what happened last year? I can't remember.
My wife's checked in. They don't want a repeat of last year.
But the important thing is, I'm pretty sure that guy who walked into the room who he called John, pretty sure that's Die Hardman. Almost certain of it. And it's not just because he's literally the only black guy I've seen in this game. It's a little bit because of that. But that's beside things. But that's interesting because he looked significantly younger, what little you could see, and he wasn't wearing the mask. Sam said that he'd only known Deadman when he was already wearing the mask. And we know that from... Let me look through this list of things. We know that the incident where Sam's wife died, or whatever it was that happened, was 10 years ago. Meaning... Die Hardman was probably with, what's his name, Cliff, around 10 years ago at least, before Sam was a part of Bridges. Maybe even further back, because who knows how long he was with Bridges before he left. He only left 10 years ago. Anyways, continuing on. Oh yeah, who is the woman in Sam's photo? Obviously it's Lucy. I always just assumed it was Amelie. But, I mean, I guess it's probably not. You never see her face. I'm still not even sure what Amelie's relationship is with Sam. Like, is she his sister? Adoptive sister? Wife? Girlfriend? Ex? Like, I don't know. I don't think they've ever explained what their relationship is. But I swear at some point they said that Sam was adopted? I could have sworn that was a thing, but I'm not entirely sure anymore. I'll have to see if I can find that information in one of my previous videos. Okay, one more thing is that... I say one more thing, there's going to be a lot more things. So, in the case of Amelie again, remember that my new mission is to bring Mama's corpse up to Hartman for examination because it isn't decomposing. My theory, back in the last puppet show, was that, you know, maybe, what's her name, Amelie is already dead, and her body's not decomposing for some reason, and she's tethered to it in some weird way, just like Mama was, but she kind of, I think, had a weird thing of, like, her soul and her body were both connected to her baby at opposite ends of life and death, so that's why she started to die after her soul was cut off. Anyways, okay, now going on to the things with the records that I was looking at the other night, or the last episode at the end there. So, the operation where they were doing that operation on the baby, the mother who was, you know, had brain dead and the baby was being cesareaned. Yeah, so the doctor accidentally connected to the other side by touching the umbilical cord, because they didn't know that BBs were a thing at that time. However, that was not the Manhattan void out, because the second log states that only when they that the Manhattan void out only occurred when they were intentionally making BBs after that initial incident. So who knows where that happened? That was not the first void out. And also, why did Bridget Strand end the BB experiments? If she had plans to use them in the reconnection of America, she wouldn't have ended the plans unless she realized their value after the fact. But how would she know that if she discontinued the experiments and no one was doing them? Unless someone convinced her to do it. Maybe she saw the terrorists using it. Maybe Bridges started using it after the terrorists did. Maybe they convinced her to use them because they had value. Who knows? I'm still not sure what the deal is with that. And on the other thing, with Higgs, his little notes. Actually, that's another thing. First thing I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to go on a little side quest. Because I know where, I googled it, I know where the memory stick is that has the first half of his journal. But anyways, so when Bridges started reconnecting America, the Homo Demons existed, because Higgs mentions that. But he was not part of them. He did not start the Homo Demons. He, I guess, became their leader at some point. On that note... Oh yeah, right. So on that note, I was actually watching footage, like old footage from things, because I was desperately trying to find one clip. And I noticed Sam, when they're explaining to Sam about Amelie and how she went west,
All the way to the Pacific. Jesus.
He has no fucking idea about that. He doesn't realize that Amelie went off west. Because he's like, oh really? She spent 3 years crossing America? Holy shit. He had no idea that happened. Which means, assuming that he was part of Bridges, he left 10 years ago, so Amelie must have crossed within the past 10 years. So she got to the East Coast. It took her 3 years to cross, which means she must have reached the East Coast 7 years ago at the absolute max. Yeah, and that's assuming she crossed immediately after he failed. Which also means this, the journal from Higgs, he was operating on the island with Fragile, by the sounds of it. So, when he was a porter, which means that was probably about midway through her journey. Okay, more on Higgs. Higgs seems to imply his powers only relate to corpses. He said, like, when he touched a corpse, he felt its power, or something along those lines. That might... I'm thinking maybe that just means, like, you know, how when Sam touched the corpse in the beginning, he could kind of detect how close it was to going necro. Maybe that's what it means. But it could mean something else. However, he didn't initially have the powers he does now, because he can teleport, which means he had access to the beach. But he's talking about Fragile, shocked that she can get to the beach, and amazed that he's finally seen the beach. So he didn't have those powers at first, which means he somehow gained them later. And that was partway through his relationship with Fragile. He teleported at the end, you know, when he was starting the Void out, when he had captured Fragile. So that means that somewhere in the middle of their partnership, he gained these powers, and that was probably the new partner he found that, you know, he's working with somehow gave him these powers. I still think that partner is Bridges. Oh, that's the other thing. Didn't Higgs betray Fragile 1 year ago? Isn't that when the incident at South Knot happened? I'm certain it was. I'll have to check the footage, but I think it was a year ago. That means that the expedition west must be very, very recent. Maybe, I mean, theoretically, he could have done this after they'd all... I think they were already connected. Like, that's why he, you know, attacked them. But that still kind of implies to me, like, this was maybe not 7 years ago. Probably, like, maybe the expedition only started, like, 5 years ago, or it started 7 years ago, which means it ended 4 years ago, maybe. Like, it's probably less than 7 years ago that they went out and, you know, started crossing. So it's all pretty recent. Also, there's a thing. I think he said that he betrayed Fragile for Amelie. Because in Journal 9, he specifically says, here, I'll actually bring it up now. Nope, not there. Go back. Data? Okay, Journal 9. Everything we've done, we can continue to do no matter what, blah, blah, blah. Even people like me and my partner, we have limits. But now I've met someone who has none. Someone who could save the world from this madness. Make it whole again. Put our shattered pieces back together. The only other person I've heard say that is Amelie when she says make us whole all the time. So I'm wondering if she's working together with Higgs, because, like, yeah, how did she get captured? Who captured her? Right? They act like the Homo demons captured her at the beginning. But she says, oh, I'm not being held in a cell or anything. And then she says, oh no, they're coming for me. They're coming to get me. They found where I am. It's like,
Higgs and his people came.
bitch, didn't
Didn't
they already have you? Who are they that is now coming to get you? It implies Higgs because, you know, the dream I had beforehand. But that doesn't make sense because, like, well, he's with the Homo demons? So what does that mean? Who caught her the first time? Was it Bridges who caught her? Or here's a weirder thing. What if it was actually Bridges that caught her? Or no, what if it was Higgs that caught her and freed her to, you know, do whatever they wanted to do, but then Bridges came back and caught her again after Higgs had her. I don't know, I'm kind of confusing myself with this logic, but that's sort of what I'm thinking is something fucky is going on here. Okay, but another thing. I still want to get the collector. I'm going to do that at some point. But in this mall here, that is supposedly where the memory chip is. I don't feel like doing that right now, actually. I'm gonna come back to that at some point. I think I want to do the thing with this. I want to make some progress in the story, because it's been so long since I've made progress. So let's do it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please press all of the buttons and follow me in all the places. Hope to see you next time, but until then, good night.